Hey y'all, it is Tasha. We are back with another review at Married at First Sight. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, if you are not, welcome back. Do not forget to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button on your way out if you are not already subscribed to the channel. So we are back with another review of Married at First Sight this week, season 14, episode dos. I am learning Spanish, so I might throw a little razzle dazzle in there every now and then, you know, just for fun. But we are back with another episode, y'all, and this episode did not give what it was supposed to give. We still gonna talk about it because we here and we sat through this 2-hour episode, but it was boring. Episode was so boring. It really struggled to keep my attention the entire time. Like, I just found myself wanting to pick up my phone, look at other stuff, really wanting to fast forward through the scenes. Like, it just was not giving what it was supposed to give, honey. But let's talk about it nonetheless. So last week, of course, we saw Lindsay and Mark get married. And the next wedding that is up is Michael and Jasmina. So she said, you know, she never saw a successful marriage around her. So she really wanted to show her sisters something different. And the first thing I thought about was, well, girl, you think the rest of us get married for it to be unsuccessful on purpose? It just works out that way sometimes. Sorry. But, you know, Michael says that he's willing to, you know, do Married at First Sight to get the family and the life he always wanted. He says he's ready to be vulnerable and stop being an overthinker. And I'm like, okay, Michael, now it's best that you do these habits before actually jumping into the marriage with the wife, not actually practicing these habits as you get the wife at the same time. But okay. Jasmina says she expects her husband to keep her happy and she hopes that he is all that she is asking for and hopes he is really serious about marriage. She wants them to communicate and be honest about their feelings. And I'm like, well, good luck, girl, because you're getting married to a man who struggles with vulnerability. So we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers. Michael's sisters then come and help him get ready, and they all look absolutely amazing. They all wear the little breast cancer ribbon pins in honor of his mom, and then his brother actually pins one on his tuxedo, and it gets a little bit emotional for everybody in the room. And as the time gets closer and closer, Jasmina is feeling a little sick to her stomach. She like, I'm nervous, I'm about to throw up. The fear is taking over, and it is really hitting her that she knows nothing about this man. And I'm like, the name of the show is Married at First Sight. You went through this whole process. You knew he was going to be a stranger. Now, all of a sudden, it's hitting you that you don't even know his name. It's the whole point of the show, Jasmine. It's the whole point of this show. But I digress. Michael says that he hopes the woman he marries today is patient and knows that being vulnerable is new for him and will take time. And I'm like, TikTok, time is up, sir. He walks out down the aisle with his little purple tux on, his little ankle pants and no socks. And I'm like, please don't tell me this is Chris 2.0 with these ankle pants that we got to see all season. Okay, let this be the first and the last time, Michael. Okay. So her mom is talking to her as she's getting ready to walk down the aisle, and Jasmina at this point looks like she is ready to either run the opposite direction or she's ready to pass out at this moment. She keeps saying she hopes she's not going to be disappointed, and I think deep down inside she's going to be disappointed. I don't think he is going to be her type, physically especially. I just don't think he's going to be what she's expecting. But anyway, she walks down the aisle looking completely gorgeous, and he immediately says, wow, when she walks down. And I love it. I'm always here for the reaction of a man being like, oh my God, and kind of being speechless as he sees his beautiful bride walks down. But he ends up giving her mom a hug as they get down to the aisle. And they are both nervous as hell. Like, you can see the nerves just beaming off of both of them. Her family shares that she loves children, loves travel, and that she can turn into a firecracker. And when it happens, just call her Beyonce, keep it moving. Michael's family wants her to know that he loves kids and he's spoiled by his sisters because he is a baby boy. And I'm like, Lord, here we go with this again. But that he has lived by himself, so he may be a little bit messy, but that he will always show up for her. She says her vows, which are super cute and funny. Like, she's like, I promise not to take the covers. I promise not to eat off your plate, even if I said I'm not hungry. I can't promise, not to always squeeze the toothpaste from the bottom. So it was started off really cute and funny. And I think that really helped break the ice with them. And then she got, a little bit more serious and emotional with her vows. Then at the end, she kind of took the paper and dropped it, like dropped the mic. So I think that really helped break the ice between the two of them. And then we get to Michael's vows, honey. And Michael, he is serious from the get-go about his vows, okay? But he promises to be vulnerable and hope really she accepts all aspects of him. They exchange rings, they kiss, they jump the broom, and Michael is just so excited that his wife is drop dead gorgeous. Like, he don't know what to do. He fist pumping his homeboys coming down the aisle and everything. Like, I know he cannot wait to get in the room and be like, do you see my wife? I just know he can't wait. So now we go back over to Mark and Lindsay so they can reunite with their friends and family, and Lindsay can continue to embarrass herself in front of his friends and everything. But she lets us know that she applied for the show while she was dating an older guy that was a jerk. And I was like, okay, Lindsay continues to overshare. And then as they are taking family pictures, she shares that she's already changed into her sneakers. And she tells her bridesmaids while sitting around all their friends and family that in about 3 hours, she probably won't have any panties on either. And I'm like, the embarrassment. Like, somebody. I can't. Her dad asks if he has ever been gator hunting, and he says no. He says, well, you have now. Basically, you just have to grab her by the tail. And I'm like, can y'all get a filter on her? Get a filter on the daddy. But at this point, I'm just like, can everybody just be quiet? Let's just stop talking at this point of the wedding, because it is getting embarrassing real fast and it just keeps going and going and going. But as they are taking pictures, she is really asking him about, his mom and dad. She's like, hey, is that your mom over there? And he's like, no, that's actually my landlord. But, she's like a mom to me. So she's like asking these questions, and they're having really semi-awkward conversations because of the relationship with both their moms. And then he's telling her, his dad passed away. And he's having to kind of still like smile through all these pics while they're having this conversation. And I'm kind of like, Lindsay, girl, read the room. It's getting a little awkward in here. So just can we just hold off on the question? You will have time to ask the questions. We don't have to do it in this very moment as y'all are trying to take pictures as well. Okay? All right. So now back to Jasmina and Michael, and she shares, how nervous she was with him before she walked out. But now, she's doing okay. Michael says she is 100% his type. And I'm like, of course she is. She's drop dead gorgeous. She's everybody's type, sir. They pour champagne, toast to new beginnings, about being open and honest. And he shares that, he tried to guess her name. And he said, the name I came up with was Melissa. And, kind of short for Melissa is Mimi. And, your name is kind of Jasmina. So it was kind of close, right? And she was like, no. And I'm like, no, that's not close. She shares that she likes to stay up late and wake up really early. He says he's the old man and likes to be in bed by 9 or 10. And I'm like, Michael, we see each other, because give me 9 or 10 o'clock. I'm going to bed, okay? They enter their reception to their family and friends, and Michael's little light-skinned friend think he's trying to be the life of the party. And all I can say is like, sir, it ain't about you right now. So can you stop trying to take the attention off of Michael and let him have his time with his beautiful wife, okay? Back to Lindsay and Mark. They are entering their reception, and he shares that, she finds him really attractive. And I'm like, you do? Okay. They do their first dance and talk about their family, disliking country music, their cats. And again, Lindsay is talking about these cats, and she's like, still about these 5 cats. That's a lot of pussies in one house. And I'm like, Lindsay, put a muzzle on her. Why is she still talking so much and saying nobody is asking you about any of this stuff, and you just keep volunteering information that nobody has asked for, that is completely inappropriate for somebody that you just met 30 minutes ago, Lindsay? Jasmine and Michael, they enter their reception. They share their first dance, and he says he feels the physical chemistry, and he really loves her smile, and it already does not feel like she's a stranger. Jasmine, on the other hand, seems to be a little bit more apprehensive, and she says, there's a little teeny tiny spark there, but we'll see how it goes, okay? Next up, we see Katina and Olajuwon. They go shopping for their wedding attire. And again, y'all seen one person shop, you seen everybody shop. At this point, I just really want Katina to get a better wig, sis, because you too pretty to have this bad wig. Like, it's just the texture. It's a lot of hair. It just, like, let's just do better as the season go along, okay? And I say that in the most loving way, girl. We cool, but the hair. It's just the hair. Then we see Noi and Steve go shopping for their wedding gear. And then lastly, we see Alyssa and Chris go shopping for theirs. And I honestly forgot about them being a couple on the show. But she shares that she has purchased 10 other wedding dresses, which her bridesmaids brought with her as they were entering another wedding dress shop. And I'm like, do we really... is this really necessary? But, she says, just in case I don't find the one, I brought my backups that I have that I can try on, in these people's shop. But then she says she isn't high maintenance, but I'm like, but you have 10 wedding dresses, but you're not. Okay. But it's just something about her that really ain't rubbing me the right way so far. Like, it's something about her nose seems to be a little bit in the air. Sometimes when she talks with her mouth barely opening, with her teeth still like very close together. And it kind of bothers me a little bit. And again, they just seem like the oddest pair. I'm just not seeing it for the two of them, but they could completely shock me and be the two that completely fall in love and make it through this whole thing. We'll see how this plays out, but I don't have high hopes for them. Anyway, it's finally wedding day for the other three couples. The third couple that's up to get married is Katina and Olajuwon. So they both start getting dressed, toasted some champagne with their friends. And then, child, once everybody's dressed and almost ready to go, Olajuwon starts to break down and cry. And I'm, child, like Zachary 2.0. We're not going to do all this hooting, hollering, and crying before it's time for us to walk out, okay? Pull it together. Pull it together. Okay? All right. But all I could think about was he crying because he knows this is the funeral for Isaac. Isaac will be no more roaming these streets. And it just hit him. What the hell am I doing? Isaac still wants to play, but I've gone this far and I can't turn back now. So only thing left is to cry. Yeah, I gotta find some humor because this episode was so boring. But anyway, he walks out down the aisle. Her friends seem to be impressed by what they see, and she walks out alone, and she looks fabulous, honey. He says, wow, and he smiles, and she gets down, and he just can't stop saying how beautiful she is. And again, I am here for this reaction. I love it when a man is almost speechless and just keeps doting on a woman's beauty. It's right up my alley. Absolutely love it. His family shares that they call him Tootie. And I'm like, so we ain't going to share the whole Isaac situation? Not quite yet. We're going to keep that under wraps. Okay. They say he loves a good home cooked meal and hopes she isn't a stranger to the kitchen. She kind of looks away like, who, me? And then her friends and everybody start to laugh. And then because, of course, now he's seen how beautiful she is, he started to change his tune. When last week he was like, she can't cook, she ain't no wife. Today he like, it's all right, we can do it together. It's all right. Okay, Olajuwon, we see you. Her friends say, she enjoyed not out and she can be a little bit blunt, but she is working on it. And he's like, nah, baby, you don't need to work on it. And I say, yeah, we're probably going to see this come back and bite him in the behind because she going to be real blunt and say something he don't like and he going to be mad and have something to say about it. But I want you to remember, Olajuwon, that you told her she don't need to change it. Remember that. Okay. But he keeps telling her how beautiful she is, and I absolutely love it. They share their vows to each other, and he actually ends up going off the top of his head because he said he actually wanted to hold her hand and the paper would be in the way, which was really sweet. His vows were really amazing, and I was like, All right, Elijah Wan, we see you. And then they exchange rings, and he actually gets down on one knee and asks her to marry him because he says he always wanted to do that. And then before it becomes time for them to actually kiss, he asks her if he can give her a kiss, and she says yeah. And they kiss. And as they walk away, I'm like, they're a pretty good looking couple. We'll see if it actually lasts. But he actually ends up telling her once they get alone that he's been crying all day. And she's like, oh, I haven't at all. And he's like, well, how are you about men, like showing their emotions and being emotionally available? And she's like, it's cool. But they really just sit there and stare at each other for a few awkward minutes because they are both a whole ball of nerves. He wanted to really ask her for another kiss, he ends up saying, but he was like, basically like, I don't want to come off thirsty, but I kind of really do want another kiss. And she's like, you can have another kiss. And they kiss again. He tells her he's going to give her 100%. Like, I'm going to open up. I'm going to talk to you. This is a lifetime commitment. I meant what I said when I said I'm going to protect you. Like, I got everything. You just the missing piece of the puzzle. And Katina's over there just drinking like... This a whole lot of going on. And I just want to be like, Elijah Wan, you coming on a little bit hot. Take a break. Give the girl some time. Settle into it. Y'all will have plenty of time to talk. Okay? Relax. So with 3 couples down, we now have 2 to go, and it's Steve and Noy's turn to get married. Noy's mama is happy to get her married, and she is so excited, but her friends don't look that excited. She even got one friend that still got her mask on and is like, I don't care what tests and what these cameras say. I don't trust y'all. I'm keeping my mask on, okay? No job having Steve is in his room toasting with his friends and getting ready. And I'm like, you probably need to be filling out a job application when you got your spare downtime as well. But she wants someone tall, dark, and handsome. And her mama is like, remember, no one is perfect, which really means be quiet, girl, and be happy with this man that you get because you couldn't get married no other way. Okay? She gets dressed, and then her dress is actually really everything, and she looks beautiful once everything is put together. But then they zoom in and show her putting on these god-awful platform suede type shoes, and I'm just like, Noy, girl, why? I'm going to give her a pass because when you in these wedding dresses, you don't see the shoes anyway, and platforms are a whole lot more comfortable and easier to walk in. But they was ugly. They was ugly, girl. So, just like Jasmina, she starts to get really nervous as the time gets closer, and she starts to cry. Steve ends up cleaning up real nice, but again, I'm like, he ain't got nothing but time on his hands. So, looking nice and focusing on his outfit was easy since he's in between jobs right now. And side note on this, I was like, why didn't Steve's brother do something with this orange hair? Like, can you imagine being the friends and the family and seeing kind of this Mod Podge of friends and family walk down the aisle, and you just start scratching your head because you like, well, what does he look like? Because I'm kind of confused. You can usually tell what somebody looks like by kind of the company they keep around them. And I could just imagine them being real confused. But then as he ends up walking down the aisle, Noe mom is like, ooh, he handsome. And I'm like, yeah, girl, he is handsome, but he ain't got no job. Okay. As she and her dad prepare to walk down the aisle, the episode kind of goes off. Next week, we better see the rest of these raggedy ass weddings finish off, and we need to see these receptions go off without a hitch as well. But as I looked at the previews for next week that they showed, child, production continues to be shady as ever, because we hear Alyssa make a comment, about, hopefully she isn't disappointed, and hopefully her groom doesn't have raggedy teeth. And then just as she is saying that, production pans over to Chris's teeth, which look a little bit sketchy. I ain't gonna say they're raggedy. They look a little bit sketchy. And I'm just like, y'all, this is why y'all being shady? But it looks like it's gonna be some drama with her already once they sit down and I guess get through the wedding, unless that's just what the previews is giving us. But I would not be completely shocked if it is something that goes down, because again, she's giving me she not really here for this. I don't know, y'all. What y'all feeling about Alyssa? And while we here, who y'all think gonna be the first couple to get it in? So as we, finish up with the weddings, and probably won't move into, them spending their first night together until the week after next, probably, how slow they move with these episodes. But let's start getting our bids in and who we think gonna be the first couple to sleep together. Right now, I'm really leaning towards Lindsay and Mark because Lindsay is drunk. So, and she's been talking about her husband penis the whole first episode. So, I think they may be the first one to actually get it in. And if not them, maybe Katina and Olajuwon, because Olajuwon is really, really feeling her. I think she's really beautiful. So I think that kind of may get everything going and revved up sooner than they anticipated, you know? But anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Hopefully this review was entertaining enough. But again, the episode itself, to me, was completely boring. Like, we did not need this to be 2 hours tonight. A smooth hour would have been sufficient for tonight. But that's almost every night with Married at First Sight, y'all. But anyway, we will be back here next week with a brand new episode. Please don't forget to leave your comments down below so we can chat it up together, so I know how y'all felt about the episode. Until then, peace.